Ooh, we're streaming. I don't know how many people are watching, but I do know that Kim.
Yes.
I'm so excited you're here because me and Jeff have something, not to spring this on you, but we do have something we wanted to talk to you about. Jeff, do you want to say it? Or
yeah, Kim, about the podcast licensing, because I feel like we've beaten that dead horse.
No.
We did that once. That was just once. And that's all it took. No. This is actually an interesting thing, Kim, that Adam and I were talking about earlier. And we didn't know if we wanted to say it live or if we wanted to do it separately outside, but it's actually the fact that you don't even like sports.
You don't even like sports.
You don't even like sports.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I have anxiety. I was like, I hate surprises. Okay.
Yeah, you don't even like Christ.
That's how the podcast starts.
Yes.
You just
tell each other. I
know you're a listener.
Obviously. I obviously listen. I'm obviously a listener.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Don't Even Like Live Sports? I don't know.
Like sports live. Sports live.
You don't even like sports live. This is a thing we're going to do every damn week. I don't know if all three of us will be here every week. Schedules are a thing. There's conflicts, but I'm going to try and do it. I'll be here every week. That's what really matters. I'm Adam Todd Brown, and I am but one of your hosts. Who else is here?
Kim, I will defer to you, of course. You are
I am Kim Kroll. I know I was trying to say it as proudly as you. I'm Adam Todd Brown. I'm Kim Kroll.
And I'm Jeff May. And the two people I'm with here, two of my best friends, two of my favorite co-hosts, and two people that don't even like sports.
Oh, Jeff, all right. So let's sports. That's what I was just going to
say. Sorry about that. No.
Crazy.
Do you like that I'm not wearing a hat?
It's throwing me a little bit.
It's weird. And also, it also looks like my headset is like weird, like an offset of my hair.
Yeah.
Is that all you're looking at too?
It's jarring. It is something that I was not expecting to do. And then I was like, screw it. And then I'm just like, this is weird.
Yeah, my mom was blonde most of her adult life. And then one day decided to go back to her natural hair color. And it looked great, but it was so daunting for her because it looked different that she had to go back to blonde. So I feel like this is Terry's brown hair.
This is Terry's brown hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your Terry phase for sure.
You're either going to freak out and just wear the hat forever, or you're going to get used to it. Time will tell.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
We're talking about sports, but sports stuff. Here's the thing. This show is going to be, I'd say, a little more of a mix where if you listen to the version of this podcast that me and Jeff do,
which you should be doing,
which you absolutely should be doing, we don't talk about a lot of stats and games and things of the like. We talk about Andre Agassi anger punching a pillow when he's telling Brooke Shields he wears hair plugs.
Or Tony Stewart killing a guy.
Yeah, Tony Stewart killing a guy, stuff like that.
We're going to listen to this podcast.
It's legitimately, I think it's Adam and I's both of our favorite podcasts that we do. And you should be ashamed if you're not listening. It's so good.
I'm going to be honest. I would just do sports stuff if I could. If I could get away with it financially, I'm at that point in my life where I just want to talk about the playoffs, I guess.
Playoffs? You're talking playoffs?
But we're going to talk a little sports, but it's also still going to mostly be, sports stories.
It's generally current events that are sports and sports adjacent.
Correct. For example, we have to do it. We have to talk about Aaron Rodgers, right?
No, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Green Bay is just can we just get one normal dude being a quarterback?
Yeah.
I used to love him. And then
Aaron Rodgers.
And then I learned, the more I learned about him, I was like, oh.
Well, here's the I have a column up on Substack about Aaron Rodgers right now because I have a theory. Because you're right. I never loved Aaron Rodgers. I'm a Bears fan, so I mostly hated him for football reasons.
Yeah.
But prior to very recently, I don't remember ever hearing Aaron Rodgers talk about anything. He would do on-field interviews, he would do post-game interviews, but I don't remember
Olivia Munn.
Yeah, right. He did. Olivia Munn.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
not gonna high five over that.
I'll
No.
high five you, Jeff.
Hell yeah. There it is.
There it is.
Well, also that was an awful out of context way for us to do a high five where we're like, yeah, let's put our arms up in this specific motion
yeah.
on YouTube live. Perfect.
Yeah. Good.
I think you
good
did
idea.
great, both of you.
Good call. Thank you. Thank you.
With the Olivia Munn joke reference.
No.
Right. It was a
Admiration.
reference. It
The
was a
high
reference.
five.
But I have it in my column that I remember Aaron Rodgers being a very private person who never talked. And I found a Sports Illustrated cover story where they say that exact thing, that he's a very private person, doesn't overshare on social media. And that changed. That sure has changed.
Hasn't it though?
And I mean, please go read the column if you want more information. But the short version of my theory is I think Aaron Rodgers might have CTE.
Oh, might he?
Yeah, potentially. Because it's a thing.
I mean,
Well,
keep
here's the
going.
thing.
Yeah.
We know Antonio Brown, who is another player whose personality like really took a turn at
Mhm.
one point. And you can go look it up. It's a very common theory that what might have happened is he sustained a head injury in a playoff game in 2016. Just started getting weirder and weirder.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he was a
Okay.
wide receiver for the Steelers. He won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a semifinalist on Dancing with the Stars. But people identify that hit that he got in that playoff game as the moment where like he started seeming like a different person.
The magic hit.
And Aaron Rodgers, I looked it up. He, for one thing, has had 4 concussions in his career, but the final game of the 2018 season, his 2018 season and his 2022 season ended exactly the same way, getting knocked out by the
A hail of
Lions.
gunfire. Oh,
Well, the difference is in 2022, I mean, he got knocked out by the Lions in that they knocked the Packers out of playoff contention the final week of the season. The final week of the 2018 season, he got knocked unconscious by a Detroit Lions player. and
Like
had to-
actually unconscious both times, like knocked out.
no, I was trying to make a joke and then it
he
all,
was eliminated, knocked out, and then literally
it all
knocked
became
out.
Oh, and
Well,
then literally, okay. Because I
Yeah.
was like, you shouldn't get
It-
knocked out that
on
often.
out of control. But
It did.
what I'm getting at, the last game of the 2018 season, Aaron Rodgers got knocked out of the game with a concussion. He was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. That's the last game of 2018. 2019 is when he starts appearing on the Pat McAfee show.
It's also when he starts doing ayahuasca, right?
Yes.
Which
And-
is a fascinating combination. There's some chicken and the egg parts to that as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing about ayahuasca, he's never like said it, but it is something you can take for depression. And the studies that have been done on it are specifically about depression that is like resistant to traditional depression treatments.
So all New York Jets fans should be on ayahuasca right now.
Yeah, I mean, we probably should all be on ayahuasca. I'm not going to dispute Aaron Rodgers that ayahuasca probably is great.
I would like to
But-
try ayahuasca. That's like on my bucket list.
Try ayahuasca.
I would too.
Jesus.
Also,
got Jeffed on. You don't even like Sports Live.
depression is a symptom of CTE. And I mean, I know it's like I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor, but not a medical doctor.
You're not? You're not
No.
a medical? Oh.
Mm-mm. No.
He's like he's a terrorist, but he's a lyrical terrorist as well. So
Right,
it's like a different
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, things like that.
It is. I will say, like, depression is a side effect of CTE, but it's also just a side effect of like living in this world now too.
Right.
Well, yeah,
Right. But Aaron Rodgers does have the 4 concussions also.
he sure does.
That's not a small number of concussions.
No,
That's-
No.
Quite a few.
some would say it's too many to have.
I would argue it's more than you want. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got to tell you, man, as soon as you get a concussion, though, you get the planet's most helpful morons out to tell you what to do when you get a concussion. I got a concussion a couple months ago. I bumped my head boxing. I was leaning back. I took it. And the amount of people that were sending me wrong information, they were like, don't go to sleep, which I was like, that's disproven centuries ago.
I didn't know that. That's the only thing I know about it.
Like if you have a concussion and your body's like, we need to sleep, you need to sleep. Your body desperately needs it. Yeah. But on top of that, a lot of people were like, you need to go to the ER. And I was like, do you know what they're going to do at the ER? They're going to tell me I have a concussion, and then they're going to tell me not to do this for a certain amount of time. Like that's exactly what they're going to do.
There's really not a lot that they can do.
Like it's like having I was going to say, it's like when you like break a toe or something, and they're just like, all right, well, we can, here you go. Like, good luck. And they send you on your way. Like, it's not really anything, but like concussions, it's such a scary word that when you get one, people freak out and they want to help. And I'm just like, look, guys, I've been in a contact sport for quite some time. I know how to handle a concussion. But when you get 4 of them, and when it's 300-pound men hurtling themselves at you, that's a lot different than having some boxing open micer accidentally bump your head into a wall.
Big difference.
The thing you also have to take into account, there's not like any good version of taking a blow to the head. Like even if it doesn't end in a concussion, like you're still sustaining that damage. So Aaron Rodgers has all of that plus these 4 concussions. And I'm just saying, I can't prove it, but I'm just saying 2018, he gets his 4th concussion of his career, the last week of the season, and then immediately starts going on Pat McAfee and talking fucking crazy after years and years and years and years and years of avoiding all of that shit.
Yeah.
That's wild. Because you're right. I never heard him really talk before all this. Like anytime I've heard him talk, he's like in interviews after a game. And I always just thought, man, he just seems like such a nice guy. Like until the last few years, I'm like, fuck Aaron Rodgers.
I just always thought he seemed boring. Like I thought he seemed like a boring dude. And boy, is he not.
I have a feeling that there were some governors on him. There was somebody there that was like, shut the fuck up. Like I do also have a feeling there could be some things that he had been carrying with him for quite some time. And then all of a sudden, like COVID, and he might have like YOLO'd it out and been like, I'm sick of being quiet. Aspect too.
Someone did mention in the comments, I believe it was on the article on Substack, that Ted Thompson, I believe was the name of the Packers GM at one point, he left. And that was also in 2018. So there's some possibility that maybe that GM had a little more control over Aaron Rodgers.
Like a Dennis Rodman thing.
I didn't hear anything crazy from him until the vaccines. Like maybe I was just like head in the sand, but the only thing the beginning of it, because the Broncos were it was rumored we were getting Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of us were kind of stoked about it. And then he said he secretly didn't get vaccinated and he didn't need to. And after that, we were like, oh, we're good. We don't want that crazy here in Denver.
Piece of shit here.
Yeah, but that's the first time I'd like seen it unravel publicly. But I also, to be fair, haven't been like actively searching for Aaron Rodgers news.
Well, speaking of Aaron Rodgers news, this came out right before we started recording. Effective immediately, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is no longer a thing on the Pat McAfee show.
It's right before we started recording?
Yeah, this was maybe like, I saw this like 20 minutes before we started recording. That's
wild.
This is a quote from Pat McAfee. I didn't watch the Pat McAfee show this morning. Maybe they announced it there. That wouldn't surprise me. But this story was just posted a few minutes before we recorded. This is an interesting quote from Pat McAfee. So Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, season 4 is done. There could be a lot of people that are happy with that. Myself included, to be honest with you. The way it ended, it got real loud. Some of his thoughts and opinions do piss off a lot of people. And I'm pumped that is no longer going to be every single Wednesday of my life which it has been for the last few weeks. So it kind of sounds like Pat McAfee himself was like, man.
It sounds like they got into a fight after yesterday.
And that
like he was probably like, you got to fucking stop. And Rodgers, because like the way he's saying that, like if this was a producer's decision, McAfee probably wouldn't have added the myself included, to be honest with you, aspect of it. Like it definitely seems like this is one of those things where he's like, dude, you got to fucking stop doing that. You're going to get us fucking sick. And Rodgers is like, you called me on here because you want my. I'm speculating, but
did either of you watch Aaron Rodgers' interview on Pat McAfee this week?
No, I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, I wanted to watch, like, I normally, like, I'll watch Pat McAfee's show in the background because I just keep ESPN on when I work a lot.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I always turn it off when Aaron Rodgers comes on. But this week I wanted to hear what he had to say about the Jimmy Kimmel thing.
Yeah.
And there were so many points throughout that interview where you could tell Pat McAfee just wanted to talk about sports. Like at one point he like draws a line and is like, all right, we got all that out of the way. Now, can we just talk about sports? And Aaron Rodgers holds it together long enough to talk about Bill Belichick for about 5 minutes and then just goes right back into the vaccine stuff and the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. And the look on Pat McAfee's face, you can see it. He's just like, oh, come on. He also said fuck like 5 times throughout the course of that interview.
Classic.
Jeez. Yeah. When did this air? Is it live or no?
It was yesterday. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Tuesday. Today is Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday.
I think we're doing great.
We're
fantastic.
Nailing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Kimmel stuff was.
Yeah,
Kimmel's response was like.
Kimmel's response was
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Kimmel's response was like, we have a list of people to make sure we do not go crazy and speculate and say things that are illegal to say. He basically was like, you're too fucking stupid, or you're too bleeping stupid. This is Pat McAfee show. I can't curse. You're too dumb to know the difference between slander and comedy.
Yes. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers' response to it wasn't great. Like, just apologize, dude. And also, who's going to tell Aaron Rodgers that RFK Jr. is named in the Epstein documents?
Well, it's going to be a big deal for him.
Because he went on at length about how much he respects RFK Jr. Almost as much at length as he went on about the Epstein files and how we need those names. And it's like some of the names have come out and RFK Jr. is one of them. You want to ask him yourself?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is talking about how important it is for us to get all the names out of the Epstein files. Like,
that's what started the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing.
I mean, I know, but it's just like, you're dumb. Why don't you have someone in your corner to be like, bro?
He's like, we got to investigate this pizza place.
That's exactly. Here's the thing. He hasn't said it, but Aaron Rodgers is clearly a QAnon guy. There is no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers is a QAnon guy.
I'm not sure if he's one of those like really invested QAnon guys, the ones that are like looking for secret meaning in there. But that world, like if it came out where he was like, I'm MAGA, we'd be like, yeah. We kind of pieced that one together the past couple of months, if I'm being honest, or years.
Years. Yeah, buddy, we know. Play football.
He went out of his way on the Pat McAfee show to say he's not a MAGA guy. And it's like, yeah, you also said you were immunized when people asked if you were vaccinated. Yeah. Like, what does not a MAGA guy mean? You don't have the hat? Like,
yeah, right? Because that's what he was like semantics with his whole vaccine thing. He's like, well, I technically said, so you don't have the red hat and the Trump action figure. I feel like there's probably an action figure that people have.
Oh, probably.
Oh, the Trump
Yeah.
action figures, they exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. We live in the dumbest timeline.
That's enough about Aaron Rodgers, I think, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I think that there is something
The article's great.
mentally wrong. I did read your article.
You know what's funny is
Adam.
I thought you had emailed me directly the article, and I read it, and then I saw that it was from the Substack, a Substack email, and I was like, well, I didn't need to read this immediately, but it was great. I think I texted you like 15 minutes after you sent out the article, and I was like, it's a great article.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate
It's a good article. I read it. It's good. I have a low attention span.
Let's talk about better NFL news. The playoffs start this week.
The playoffs?
Can't wait.
I can't get into them if the Broncos aren't into them. If I don't have a dog in the fight, I'm like, I don't care. That's a horrible saying. But like if I do, I mean, I'll go watch the Super Bowl. I'll follow who's in the playoffs. I'll follow who's going. I have my picks who I want to win the Super Bowl, but no one believes that it'll happen. But like
to win the Super Bowl?
The Denver Broncos. I'm just kidding. That's the Detroit Lions. I would love to see.
I think everybody would love to see that.
I would not, because
I know you would. Adam wouldn't. Is my screen flashing real quick, by the way, every now and then when I'm moving?
No, ma'am.
Okay. It must just be me. All right, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, let's make some picks. Let's go through the playoff schedule and let's do some picking. Saturday, 1:30 p.m. First game, wild card round. Browns versus Texans.
Imagine asking this question 12 years ago and just laughing the whole time.
Imagine asking this question last year when the Texans had the second overall pick in the draft.
I hope it's the Browns, actually. Of all people that I think are laughable quarterbacks, I think Joey Flacco is actually really, really high on that list for me. Because
you think he's laughable?
Yes. A lot of that has to do with the fact that man built a career off of pass interference on deep throws. Like if you look at he literally would spray and pray and get. If you look at like his stats, he would get these massive pass interference calls that would get him like 55 yards because he's got a cannon. Like he would, but there was a time when he said like, I think I'm in an elite level, like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, and everyone's like,
you're not.
Even look at his Super Bowl win. Like,
I mean, he did win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but what was the score? Like, it was a defensive. You know, what was the score of that game? It was insane.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, I like an underdog, and I feel like Joey Flacco is a bit of an underdog, and the Browns are the underdog, as are the Texans, I guess.
Browns are definitely, I don't believe the Browns are underdogs in this game.
Let me rephrase that. The Browns are the underdog in like a life scenario.
Yeah, I was just saying like a life situation.
In like
we
lost our team and it moved to Joey Flacco's city that he played in, because he played for the Ravens. And then the Browns, they gave him back. It's like it's a lovable loser team. I don't know how else to say it. Like
I'm way into CJ Stroud though, too.
Yeah.
Like he's been really, really, for a rookie quarterback, he's been so insanely impressive. And I got rookie cards that ain't gonna sell themselves. So I think I'm going with the Texans in this one.
This is your version of fantasy football.
This is your
fantasy version is what cards you've invested in.
Yeah,
so
that's for this.
I worked at a sports bar. I've talked about this a million times for a really long time. And every Sunday.
Say its name.
Oh, Big Wangs. Oh, so you can make all your jokes that I haven't heard 1 million times. Go on.
No, that is
I'll give
the
you
joke.
The floor.
Yeah.
You worked at a place called Big Wangs. I don't need to make a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So every Sunday, the Browns fans, the same Browns fans, and I would watch other teams as their
Sunday.
I don't love that movie, but I do like that sign that saying. Like other teams, like once they're and like Broncos too, like our Bronco bar is like packed until we start losing, and then it's the same 6 of us, right? And so like other teams would like fade out the amount of people that would come in every week, but Browns fans, every week the people would show up in the regular season and they would genuinely believe today is our day. And so I want the Browns and I would like the Browns to go as far as they can, because those fans They're not fair weather, and I respect the hell out of that.
I like that Jets fans are hopeless, which I think is very funny. Like they're very pessimistic.
And they're annoying too.
Team.
They're annoying with their hopelessness. Like Browns fans are like genuine. I don't know. Jets fans.
Because I guess the Browns aren't hopeless. They're always hopeful, even though everybody else is like, come on, guys. Like, what do you
and Jet fans are like, woe is me. Like, I feel bad for me.
Their management, like if you know about their draft history, like if you watch every New York Jets first draft, all you hear is people yelling, no, every time they make an announcement.
Okay, so who are we picking? I'm taking
Browns.
the Texans. I'm taking the Texans just off. I think the Texans are hot right now in general.
I think the Browns are pretty hot too. And I also vote with my emotions. That's why I'm not a gambling man.
Jeff,
the Browns are on a streak, man.
All right. Saturday.
Also, the Broncos beat the Browns. So if the Browns go to the Super Bowl and win, it's technically like the Broncos beat the Super Bowl champion.
Exactly like that.
See, that's how I judge teams. Like, did the Bears beat you? Then sorry, it's not going to go well in the playoffs. And here's the thing, the Bears should have beat them twice. We took a double-digit lead into the fourth quarter on the Lions, and then we did beat them a couple weeks later. People are underestimating that the Lions, everything around Jared Goff is so good that it masks the fact that they desperately need a quarterback. Like, he's adequate. He's like Joe Flacco if Joe Flacco wasn't old. Like, he's not old
or Joe Flacco.
No, he's got to be like 39 to 41.
No, he's 36.
He's way younger than I thought he was, if I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing great. All right, so Browns, Texans. Got it. Saturday, 5 p.m. Dolphins v. Chiefs.
Go Dolphins.
I think it's gonna be the Dolphins.
I think the Chiefs are about to get knocked out.
I've been watching a lot of Hard Knocks, and the Dolphins are a tenacious bunch. I like them. I like this team. Again, I got a grip of Tua rookie cards that I paid barely any money for. I need those to skyrocket with some playoff success. But also, like, the Chiefs don't have it this year. Like, this isn't. I'm over it. I'm tired of Taylor Swift. Tired of Taylor Swift before all of this.
Wow.
And
for someone who loves pop princesses so much, that's surprising.
I don't care about her. Like, she's never really done it for me.
I'll add that Kyle in the chat did say that the Dolphins are going to be playing in a very frigid Kansas City with some injuries in their
the Dolphins have been playing with injuries for a long time. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
But
they seem to just make it work.
Yeah. Well, they haven't. I mean, they beat the Cowboys, but
Cowboys.
Yeah. Big deal. But yeah,
I have to like the Cowboys.
I feel like, and this is conspiracy stuff, I feel like the refs have moved on from like how Brady was always winning and you'd watch stuff and refs would like not call obvious calls, right? And that's happened with the Chiefs so often. I watch a lot of Chiefs games because I'm a Broncos fan and we're like, that's holding, that's pass interference. Oh, wow, that, you know what, like they don't call it on the Chiefs. And then they started calling everything on the Chiefs because the powers that be have decided that the Chiefs aren't going to go to the Super Bowl this year. And Mahomes finally getting called on the way he should be has lost his shit. And I hope he gets knocked out of the playoffs in the first round of the whole thing. That would make me so
that happened
happy.
One game. And now you're making me like want to pick the Chiefs.
How dare you?
Here's something I'll say.
Dare you? I'm going to walk off of this podcast. Why would you do that? I wouldn't root for the Packers.
Here's the thing.
How dare you?
The Tom Brady thing. Roger Goodell wanted nothing more than the Patriots to start losing. Like, saying that the calls were going unfairly. They were protecting Tom Brady because they were protecting quarterbacks because they were starting to notice all the injuries that were coming into quarterbacks. And
I'm half kidding, right?
Yeah, I know,
love
but
that you are seriously answering my.
Well, because a lot of people, especially AFC fans, would be like, they're getting all the calls, and it's like, no, quite the honest. They were getting like a lot of the penalties they were getting for like Deflategate and stuff like made no sense from what they were taking away. They were taking away draft picks that they had traded for instead of the ones that they were given. It was like a very weird thing where like Roger Goodell was doing everything he could to unseat the dynasty of the Patriots because dynasties do not make for good television.
Boring. I actually think there was a little bit of that at work with Georgia getting kicked out of the college football playoff because that was insane. Like I mentioned that on a recent episode and someone followed it up in the comments. I forgot they had a 29-game winning streak and then lost their conference championship game by a field goal, one field goal to Alabama. And somehow that knocked them from 1st to 5th, I think. Unprecedented. Had never happened. And I think it's just because Georgia always wins. And they were going to win another national championship if you got them in the college playoff this year.
Dogs. Woof, woof.
So Dolphins, Chiefs. I'm still.
Sorry.
I think I'm going Chiefs.
It is
I
home
thought
field
I
advantage.
made it clear that I would leave this live pod. You're going to root for the Chiefs?
I'm not
He's not rooting. He's
for them. I
predicting.
just think they're going to win.
I don't. Also, I think that little coach, not Andy Reid, the the one from Miami. I don't know his name.
McDaniel?
What's his name?
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, he looks like if you built a person out of Miami. Like he looks like he walks down the street and you're like, yeah, that guy's definitely Miami. Like everything, the grease
All
back
the
hair.
microphones are like this size, just like child size microphones. Because he's such a little guy.
He's such a little guy, and he looks like Miami. Like he looks.
I love Mike McDaniel though. He's such.
I'm not. That's not me saying I don't love him. I think, and then also, they beat us. They beat us by quite a bit, and I've met a bunch of Dolphin fans in the last season that, since the big blowout, that I root for their team too. So I'm rooting with heart, and I think that the Chiefs are not good enough.
I think you in the comments they're saying do not slander the most likable coach in the league, Kim.
I didn't slander him. He is. I mean, I'm 5'11", so he's probably like 5'2", right?
Very likable, and his story.
He is likable. I'm saying he just looks like Miami. How is that slandering him? Miami's like the only part of Florida that we all accept, right?
Okay, so Dolphins, Chiefs.
Dead to me.
Jeff, who are you taking?
This is more of a rooting than an expectation, but the Dolphins.
Okay. Sunday at 10 a.m. Steelers versus Bills. I might just stay in bed for this.
I think the Bills have lost their. I think they're at the tail end of a spiral.
Really?
No, I'm not sure about.
You don't
Did you
think so?
see them play?
I think the Steelers will shit the bed.
Yeah, the Steelers. The Steelers suck.
They suck.
Mike Tomlin's a good coach, but yeah. I mean, all of our teams kind of suck.
Yeah, we're a fucking messy group right now as far as
I was like 1 or 2 games away from being in the playoffs this weekend. So you two, Jeff, you barely you're like the worst team in the league.
No,
and
the
then Bears. I actually don't know how the Bears are doing.
What do you mean the Bears are? The Bears have the 9th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So Carolina Panthers are the worst team in football, which is why the Bears also have the 1st pick in the draft because we get Carolina's 1st round pick this year. And Carolina lost most of their games. So
don't group me into the Patriots and the Bears. We were.
If you're not in the playoffs, you're grouped in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to be categorized with the Patriots? Yeah.
Or the Bears? No.
What a shameful name to be associated with when it comes to football.
Yeah.
That team that won 6
when
Super
they're
Bowls.
bad. When they're bad, I don't want to be associated with them. Also, you really burned a bridge when you said you're rooting for the Chiefs.
Here, your team sucked and they did Russell Wilson so dirty.
Dude, we got to talk about that at some point. Can we have a whole show about that? Because like,
I hope he beats the Broncos in the Super Bowl at some point. That was so shady what they did with his contract.
agree, but why would you say that to me? You love me.
I know, but I
You have
love
to like
seeing
your
my
team.
friends' teams lose even more.
What? Why would you just say that out of nowhere? That's super weird.
It's not out of nowhere. That's been his brand for Jesus. I've known Adam for 10 years.
Did
Wait,
you say
what's my
he'd
brand?
like to lick my feet?
No, what?
What? What is
Oh, I
happening?
thought.
Are
What is
you
happening?
insane?
What did you say?
He likes to see his friends' teams get beat. I don't know how the
Fat.
fuck you pulled. I would like to lick your feet.
I heard he would like to lick your feet.
I would like to see your team get beat. It's Russell
Okay,
Wilson.
Kyle, I just looked at the comments. Kyle heard it too. Thanks, Kyle. Also wasn't slandering the coach, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
that guy wants to lick your feet. So moving on.
Bills. Are we all picking Bills? Is anyone picking the Steelers?
Yeah,
I'm
Bills.
going to go with the Steelers. Fuck the
Okay.
Bills.
Okay,
Also
so
fuck the Steelers, but fuck the Bills.
Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Packers v. Cowboys. I have
No brainer.
zero faith in the Cowboys. I have Jordan Love rookie card concerns.
You fucker.
And here's the thing. The Packers are playing really, really well right now. I wouldn't want to play them if I was the Cowboys. I'm taking the upset. I'm taking Packers.
That's tough because the Cowboys have been doing really well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they notoriously shit the bed in the playoffs. They just choke no matter. And Prescott, I know as little as about the Cowboys as I can possibly know. I don't care for that team or most of their fan base. I do have a Cowboy fan I do love quite a bit, but like,
Is it me?
notorious. No, you're also not a Cowboy fan. They
really
do
don't pay
notoriously
attention.
shit the bed, but
You
I don't
really
know.
don't pay attention to me.
Oh, so are you just like a full-on Cowboys fan? Because
Well, I
What's
have to root
happening
for-
right
if I have
now?
to root for them, if they come up in front of me and it's not the Patriots, then of course
Yeah.
I have to root for the Cowboys.
you're absolutely,
Why
you know,
Because one of my old students plays for them.
did you know that, Adam?
Yeah,
What?
Adam got me. If you watched I Must Break You this afternoon, every Wednesday at 2:00, I actually showed everybody the cracked ice autographed Gem Mint 10 Sean McCune rookie card
of
that Adam got me
22.
for Christmas, numbered out of 22,
Mm.
which I just showed.
So yes, I did know that.
So he
And I'm
did.
still picking the Packers.
I have
Is he
to go with
dead
the
to you now
Cowboys.
too? I don't,
Adam's been dead to me since like 2015. So
Yeah, we've been dead to each other for so long. You crazy? I haven't seen Jeff in 10 years.
yeah, we only do this by law. We have a restraining order, but that's not digital.
Yeah, we owe debts in court. We have to do this.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going Packers. Everyone else.
I don't know where
going
to put that. I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, I have stopped watching the Packers and I didn't even know they were going to be in the playoffs because they're not relevant to me. So I didn't know they've been doing well, but I'm going to say Packers too.
I think
Just
that
'cause-
Dak Prescott and CD Lamb is one hell of a back and forth. They really do.
They are good.
They're synced in ways that it's like, I hate to say this because like when you think of like GOAT, when you think of like Montana and Jerry Rice, these guys that just like right guys at the right time. I'm not saying that that's what this is because it's not, but at the same time, like you don't often see a quarterback and a receiver sync together this well. You saw it with like Tom Brady and Randy Moss.
Okay. Okay.
What?
They are not Tom Brady and Randy Moss.
No, I'm saying, but you see it with Tom Brady. I also said they're not Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. But what I'm saying is
they are that.
they have this weird link that these two men just happen to work really well at.
So you're picking the Cowboys?
You're goddamn right. I'm picking the Cowboys.
All right. Sunday, 5 p.m. This to me is the most interesting game of the weekend. Rams versus Lions.
The Freaky Friday
Oof.
game.
I am picking the Rams because,
Why?
well, for one thing, the Lions are being very petty. Matt Stafford did nothing but work his ass off for the Lions for years and years and years and years and years. And now he's coming into Detroit to play a playoff game. and they are banning Matt Stafford jerseys from the stadium.
They can't fucking do that.
What?
His wife even posted a thing and was like, okay, well, we still love the city. We lived there for a long time. And like, that would be such a great story if Matt Stafford comes in and just puts
a different jersey on.
Kibosh on the Lions' dreams of advancing in the playoffs. I want nothing more than for Matt Stafford to bounce the Lions in round 1. And I think it's going to happen. The Rams are playing really great right now.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's horrible. They're banning. Okay. We talked about this at another.
And stupid.
It's so stupid. But we talked about this. I can't remember when we were talking. We might have just been texting Adam about the Lions. When the Broncos were playing the Lions, I was with a girl who was a Lions fan, and she was being like so rude about it. Like, like, fuck the Broncos, da da da. And I just looked at her and said, act like you've been here before. And she was like, what? I was like, you're acting. Yeah. Like, and that to me right there, banning his jersey. It's like Detroit. We all know you've never been to a Super Bowl. We know you've notoriously been bad, but like, try to act like you belong. That is so petty. Fuck the Lions. I changed my beginning statement. I don't want them to win the Super Bowl. Go Browns.
Because like, I don't know how many people in Detroit can afford a new jersey in the past 5 years.
Also, I still wear my Von Miller jersey. Like on Christmas last year when we got smoked by the Rams, I wore my Broncos Von Miller jersey to Rams Stadium. He's going to A, retire a Bronco, and B, that's so...
You can't do that until he retires, though.
I can do whatever I want.
Okay.
Same thing with me and my Aaron Hernandez jersey, by the way.
Is that the guy that killed someone?
Allegedly. Definitely.
Very different. Very different. Von Miller helps like kids and stuff. So
I did wear a Reggie White jersey to a Patriots game that like right after he died, and somebody like gave me a hard time for it. They were like, wrong stadium, dipshit. And I was like, he's my favorite player and he just died, and I will throw you into the field.
Yeah. So
dipshit. I like when people call strangers dipshit. That's hilarious.
I'm taking Rams. Who you got, Kim?
I'm changing my entire tone for the entire rest of the season. Fuck the Lions. It's so petty. Go Rams. Rams.
Right. Jeff, who you got?
I still want the Lions.
A petty petty decision.
Like, I want them to get that. Like, you know, like I said, the Rams, I mean, they've been shitty since the 70s, and then they recently just
So another year's not going to hurt.
They just came back. The Rams. What I'm saying, like they just got that Super Bowl win, like what, 3 years ago?
Oh, I don't want the Rams to win the Super Bowl by any stretch of the imagination.
No. I just want the Lions.
Matthew Stafford specifically to be the one who bounces the Lions from the playoffs. All right, last game, Monday, 5 p.m. Eagles versus Buccaneers. Man, I wouldn't pick the Eagles over the Panthers right now. The Eagles suck.
They've been sucking.
Coasting on fumes, yeah.
Dude, they lost to the Giants. Like
they didn't lose to the Giants. They got
smoked by the Giants. And the Giants, what's their draft pick? Because they were so bad this year.
Giants were very bad. And like, I don't know, Baker Mayfield is a fun story. Like
I don't know the story.
Well, he's just, I don't know, he keeps getting bounced around from team to team, and he hasn't ever really like settled in anywhere as the starter. A few years in Cleveland until they traded for a sexual assaultist. And
like you do.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's been jumping around from team to team, and he's having a really good season with the Buccaneers, and he got them to the playoffs. He played the last game of the season. He was so injured. Like he was limping the whole game, but he was like, I'm not going to not play with a trip to the playoffs on the line. And he won. And now they got that momentum. The Eagles have to go into Tampa Bay. That's how hard. Like the Eagles were 10-1 at one point.
You know,
what's their record now?
Eagles of death metal.
Yeah.
What's gonna break it? That's my favorite Eagles death metal song.
That's right.
I don't know what's happening.
So I'm picking the Bucks.
Are we starting a band?
Yes, but
Yes.
who else do we got?
The Bucks.
Bucks. Kim, who do you got?
What are the Eagles' record now?
I don't know, like 11-4, something like that.
2-14.
That's not enough games. Yeah, 69 and 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Bucks. But what did you say about 69?
69 and 420.
And 420. Yeah, the dynamic duo. So a couple new things about the playoffs. One, Monday game. That's new. There's normally a triple header Saturday and Sunday since the league added 2 new playoff teams. But this time they're 2 games Saturday, 1 game Monday night. But like the really crazy quirk to the playoffs this year, one of them games behind a paywall.
What?
You have to be a Peacock subscriber to watch the Dolphins Chiefs game on Saturday night.
I am a Peacock subscriber.
Yeah, I am too, so it doesn't bother me, but
that's wild.
Mad Dog Russo was talking about this on First Take this morning, and he was like, you're going to have 75-year-old lifelong Chiefs fans who want nothing more than to watch this game, and they're going to have to figure out signing up for Peacock. Are they going to be able to watch it on their TV? Will they have to watch it on their phone? And the other thing he brought up, the NFL's getting $110 million out of this.
I'm sure Peacock can afford that.
Well, that's not the point. When you divide that among the 32 teams, they're each getting like $3 million. What the fuck do they need that for?
What's the, because normally if something's on Peacock, it usually is on NBC, unless it's right? Isn't it normally on NBC if it's on Peacock? So they're not
CSI that they don't want people to miss.
I don't think that's happening this time. I think this is exclusively on Peacock.
Oh, that's fucked up. Because you're right. My stepdad is like a huge Chief fan, like diehard, and I cannot. He's in his 60s. I bet he doesn't have I have Peacock because I like Law and Order. Literally, that's it. I cancel it as soon as the season's over. That's so fucked up.
I like to watch old WWE documentaries
on Peacock.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a quick funny thing that my stepdad said when just a sidebar, when the Broncos beat the Chiefs this year? If you know the background, we haven't beat the Chiefs in like 16 games, so like 8 years. Mm-hmm. And I text my stepdad and was like, hey, I have to text you because we beat you. And he wrote back, why? I haven't texted you the last 8 years. I was like, ooh, perfect. Good burn, Ken. Good burn.
Point, Ken.
Hey, Kim, act like you've been there before.
I know. I was so excited. Then he said that. I was like, this is why, by the way, when the Chiefs do go to the Super Bowl, I do root for them because I love my stepdad a lot. But my Bronco friends hate that I do that. That is terrible. That makes me really upset. I mean, there's nothing else we can do about it except say.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch it because I have Peacock, but I do think it's weird and unnecessary. Like if it's like Thursday Night Football on Amazon, that's fine. Almost no one watches Thursday Night Football anyway. But
yeah, I was going to ask, isn't that also the same on Amazon? Like, is there no other place you can watch the Thursday Night Football?
Everyone has Amazon.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
It got so dark in my place right now. I'm sorry if I look like a specter. I have a candle right here.
I'm gonna send you a ring light.
No, I have a ring light. I normally would do. I just didn't think it would get so dark so fast.
It's fine. It's fine.
No one. It's fine. It's
so.
Good. I'm gonna send my stepdad my Peacock
ring light
passwords. Oh. That's a good idea, right?
Yes.
No.
That's terrible.
Before. I added this kind of at the last minute because there have been a lot of coaching changes announced today. The Bears are keeping Matt Eberflus, which
it's a great name.
Sure.
Fine, whatever. Which I think kind of points to them probably keeping Justin Fields also, which I think I prefer that. I want them to keep Fields and try to get Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft. But that's neither here nor there. The Titans fired Mike Vrabel. I was surprised by that.
That's a weird one. Yeah.
Why?
He's a why did they fire him?
Yeah. They didn't have a very good season this year, but they've been good.
Awful.
I mean, they were like close to 500. I think they weren't the best, but they've had some success. The thing is, I feel like now that this has happened, he will be the next coach of the New England Patriots.
That's literally what I was going to say when you said the one in two notes. As soon as you brought up, well, we'll say now, Bill Belichick being on his way out, most likely. Yeah. Like I was like, Vrabel can slide in there. He's got such a rich history with the town, with the city.
Yeah, it would be the most obvious move. Vrabel in.
It's going to be very different because Mike Vrabel is a very big like players coach.
Yeah,
and it seems like Belichick was more of like a front office, run everything kind of coach.
I tell you where Belichick needs to go.
I was going to say, where do you think he's going to head?
Well,
retirement. That's probably where he needs to go.
A lot of people are talking about him going to the Chargers. I think the Chargers maybe want Harbaugh instead. But the team that needs Bill Belichick is the Washington Commanders, because that franchise as a whole is just a shambles right now.
It's a mess.
If anyone needs a strict disciplinarian type who's going to come in and be like, look, you are doing things my way or you will be gone. I feel like Washington is the only team where that's going to work right now because they need it so bad.
Who was the nightmare player for Washington that I forget? It's Al something that the Patriots took in a trade. He was like this absolute monster of a player that had huge off-field issues. He was like kind of like an Ndamukong Suh kind of guy where it's just everyone's just like, this guy's an asshole. Yeah, and I forget it. His name. It's Al something or other. But like I remember we took him and it did not work.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll.
I saw that today.
Coach of the Seahawks, and it seems like he got fired. If you listen to his,
he's gonna open up a puka shell necklace and surfboard store in Venice.
Like Pete Carroll.
Yeah. I tell you where, if Pete Carroll does, like, he's up there in years. He's 72.
Oh,
if he
looks fantastic.
If he wants one last job, I tell you where Pete Carroll needs to go: the Chargers. Because Pete Carroll has history in LA. He coached USC for all those years. That would at least draw some local interest to the Chargers because they have none.
No one gives a shit about the Chargers.
He could go back to New England.
Yeah, but I still feel like Vrabel is going to end up in New England.
Yeah. I think Pete Carroll needs to stay on the beach in a place that is warm. Like that seems like his vibe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How long was he the coach for Seattle?
Like
20 years?
14, 15 years, I think. Yeah. And this, speaking of shocking exits, Nick Saban is retiring, coach of Alabama.
Yeah. No, I don't follow college.
That's about right. 14 seasons, Grady Stack says in the comments.
Carol? Oh my gosh.
Oh, Grady's there. My friend Grady from Minnesota.
Shout out to Grady, Wavy Grady.
I just what confuses me, not confuses me, but like head coaches are so interesting and like how they're ousted and how they're like Belichick is, like you said, a dynasty, like the head of like arguably one of the best football stories we'll ever see in our lives, right? Like all the rings and all the whatever. And to watch him go out in like one of the worst losing seasons in a long, ever, not ever, but like one of the worst losing seasons that the Patriots probably had. Sorry, I got really distracted. Yep. It's just such an odd, like, I feel like Brady got to kind of go out into the sunset. Like Manning got to go out and like these greats, like when the players get to go retire in a lovely way, but Carroll and Belichick are just fired. And it's
if they're not winning, like
I know
they can't win.
I think that's just like my bleeding heart. Even though Belichick sold he's the devil.
Don't feel bad for him.
Bill Belichick's been a good coach and a terrible GM also. Like once Tom Brady left, like
Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady didn't leave yesterday. Like Tom Brady left a few years ago, and Bill Belichick has had this whole time to try and recover, and he just hasn't.
But does that make sense? My weird feeling about it, like Pete Carroll.
It's loyalty.
It's being conflicted. It's like
loyalty.
It's like seeing Hank Aaron retire. You just you see somebody that does something nobody else has been able to pull off, and you're just like, this is huge. And it's like a guy who was a winner, and then now is a loser.
Dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. That. Does, yeah.
Dinner. Because he's been eaten up by all these other teams.
Yeah, and like Pete Carroll years ago, like when I worked at Big Wangs, that sports bar. Go ahead, laugh it up. When the Seahawks were so bad, there were like 3 Seahawk fans, and they were the only ones that weren't bandwagon fans. And 3 Hawks. And Pete Carroll was, I don't know, he just was like the coach through bad and good. He got them so good. They went to 2 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls. They won 1, the one against the Broncos. That was a rough day.
We talking about the Seahawks?
Yeah. So it's weird to see Pete Carroll gone because he's been with the Seahawks when they've been shitty and he wasn't fired then. You know what I mean?
I mean, the Eagles fired Doug Peterson like 6 weeks after he won a Super Bowl. Like, it happens, you know?
There's no crying in football, I guess.
Can we talk about some tennis? No one cares except me.
I know nothing of tennis, so I'm very excited to learn everything that makes you love it.
I knew you were going to sneak something Tennessee in here, and I was like, this sounds good.
Well, Naomi Osaka and Rafael Nadal are back.
They're back.
Naomi Osaka, she took 18 months off to have a kid and deal with her mental health. And here's the thing. She's like one of the most dominant players of our era. She's won 4 Grand Slam titles and
has eaten 100 Grand Slam breakfasts.
And I don't know. She's a player worth supporting. She's not an American player. Technically, she represents Japan, but she's kind of an American player. She did a very cool thing at the 2020 US Open, I think, where she
played on a dirt bike.
She wore a mask with the name.
I'm glad you do this to other people.
She wore a mask with the name of a different victim of police violence for each round of the US Open, with the intention of wearing one with George Floyd's name on it in the final. I remember when she announced that, I was like, that is a bold thing to announce, because now you kind of have to make it to the final. And here's the thing, she did, and she won.
Did she wear the George Floyd mask?
Yeah. She.
Oh, I like her. That's rad.
She's not an American player, but she's an American player.
Yeah,
basically. And it's cool that she's back. She came back for the Brisbane International, won her first match, lost her second match, but that's fine. She's gearing up for the Australian Open. Rafael Nadal, on the other hand, won his first match, lost his second match, and re-injured his hip. So now he's not even playing in the Australian Open. Which is
how many opens are there?
I mean, there's tennis tournaments year round.
It's an open number.
4 majors. The Australian
for
Open.
Me or for...
Huh?
Oh, he just winked. I said was that for me or was that for Adam? Wait, so Australia, US. Is Wimbledon an open?
French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Teach me all about tennis. I will listen and be excited with you.
I mean, you'd have to watch tennis with me. It's really not that hard of a game to understand, but hey, it's not for everyone. That's fine. Let's talk about money.
Money.
This happened last month, but I haven't had a chance to bring it up with anyone really. A Brewers rookie named Jackson Chourio, no experience. He has not played a single game in Major League Baseball. Signed an 8-year, $82 million contract with the Milwaukee Brewers. I repeat, he has not played a game in the majors yet. This is a minor league player.
Do we know how much of that is guaranteed?
Do we know why?
Believe it's 82 million guaranteed.
That's insane. Jesus.
Why?
Milwaukee, what are you doing?
I mean, he's good.
He's incredible. It's important to note that he is incredible.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. Look, I hate to be this guy. Look at the Orioles and look at their payroll versus who they have as young players. And they're dominant. Like when you look at Jackson Holiday, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, like these guys are unbelievable, and they're not paying $12 million for them for their first year. That's insane.
Yeah.
If I was on the Brewers, I'd be like, hey, this is great, but also I've played in the major leagues before, and I'm only making $1.2 million.
Yeah, what's the average salary of everyone on the Brewers? Like that's gotta. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's gotta smart.
Yeah, this is like baseball contracts are always pretty huge, but this one is an outlier. Like when this happened, everyone in baseball media was like, what?
Do we know what was is it Spencer Steer? Is that the Pirates kid?
Spencer Steer plays for the Reds.
Who am I thinking of then? The big Pirates guy now, like the one who's like the up and comer.
Paul Skeens, the pitcher.
That's the one. Yeah, Skeens. Yeah, he's pulling in some cash right now too, right?
Oh yeah, and his girlfriend Olivia Dunn.
That's sort of like he's like I was gonna say it's the A-Rod move.
Yeah,
Dating
Olivia Dunn. She is a gymnast for LSU who has a massive social media following and makes, she says, 7 figures a year off of that social media following.
That makes sense.
She is sometimes called America's girlfriend, which is creepy because she's like 19. But
no, she's Paul Skeens' girlfriend.
Yeah, she is
not
Paul
America's.
Skeens. No, she is sometimes called America's girlfriend.
But she's that guy's girlfriend only.
Oh, I get what we're doing. So
I do not know what is happening right now.
Just seems like the nickname's a little off, is what I'm saying.
Let's talk about one last contract thing
before
we get out of here. I thought this was interesting. Here's the thing about Shohei Otani. He's still rich, and rich people deserve to pay their fair share of taxes. And Shohei Otani is not going to have to do that probably because of the way his contract was structured. He signed a $700 million contract over 10 years, but he deferred $680 million of that until after the contract expires. So until then, he's going to have to scrape by on $2 million a year and his New Balance endorsements and selling those Japanese cat treats that they advertise at Dodger Stadium. He's just going to have to live as a man of meager means.
As a man making a medium fortune at all times.
And what sucks about that for the state of California is because he's doing that, he gets to avoid paying any state taxes on that $680 million. And I'm sorry, if you're mad about rich people dodging taxes, you got to be mad about it when Otani does it too.
Yeah.
And so he's basically avoiding $98 million in taxes.
Same.
And here's the thing. You got $700 million. Give the state of California $98 million. What's the big deal? But a lawmaker in California now wants Congress to intervene to make it so, because this isn't just Otani. Like there's a lot of athletes and just rich people who are able to do weird stuff like this and like get out of paying taxes, because the thinking is Otani can defer this till 2033 and then just go back to Japan and collect it there. And then he's not paying the $98 million in state taxes.
And he doesn't live in the state.
And so
it'd be funny if he just like went on the lam about it. Like he did owe it. He's just like, I'm never fucking going back there.
Him and Wander Franco.
Yeah.
Like mopping it up through South America. Oh, no.
That is not the guy you want to be on a team with.
So State Controller Malia Cohen has stepped in and asked Congress to close that loophole. Here's a quote. The current tax system allows for unlimited deferrals for those fortunate enough to be in the highest tax brackets, creating a significant imbalance in the tax structure. The absence of reasonable caps on deferral for the wealthiest individuals exacerbates income equality and hinders the fair distribution of taxes. I would urge Congress to take immediate and decisive action to rectify this imbalance. Again, that's State Controller Malia Cohen.
She's correct.
She's 100% correct. And I also think the Dodgers overpaid for Otani. Like, he's good.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure we should worry about the payroll aspect of Otani because they're going to make more than that off of him.
I'm not worried in any sense of the word for anyone involved. I'm just saying Otani is not worth $700 million in his current state. He is, at this point, a former pitcher.
So
he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries. He might come back and pitch for a couple more seasons.
I think that the aspect, though, that like we tend to gloss over in that is the Dodgers are, they're going to need a DH, right? Like that's a thing. That's a real thing.
DH is $700 million.
No, you don't. But if a DH is going to sell $1 billion worth of jerseys every year, and you're making money off that, like that is the amount of ticket sales they're going to get by his existence there. Like this is a high tourism space. It's like having LeBron James on your team.
I obviously get all that, but I don't think he's going to improve the fortunes of that team the way people think he did. He certainly didn't for the Angels.
Well, I mean, Anaheim. I mean, they play right near Disney World, or Disneyland. So that
must be what it is. Yeah,
but that's an interesting. But like, I mean, when they talked about there was an economist that was doing this whole thing about LeBron James brought in when he was in Cleveland an additional $2 billion a year in revenues to the city of Cleveland. Right, that's just how much he brought by existing in Cleveland. He brought in that much money. They're going to need a DH, so why not get a DH that's also going to bring the most money in secondary and tertiary sales? Is what I'm saying.
He will keep bringing in that money if he's just a DH? Because I don't. I think
David Ortiz did.
David Ortiz did not draw crowds the way Shohei Otani did. You are kidding yourself.
I mean, he always drew crowds because they sold out every single game until he retired. But that's not what I mean. People still wear their Ortiz jerseys everywhere and stuff like that. I'm just saying, it's not the bad financial decision we're thinking of. If you look at it just from a baseball games perspective, I understand, but also
that's what I'm saying. I get that it's a good investment. I just don't think as a player, he warrants that kind of contract. He warrants that kind of contract as eye candy. But as a player, I'm telling you, I stand by it. Shohei Otani is a former pitcher right now, and it is not guaranteed he will ever be the player he was. The Dodgers, they're really rolling those dice. But
oh, wow.
The Worcester Tornadoes took Jose Canseco on, and they didn't do that because they thought he was going to win them any games.
So I know nothing about baseball, so I don't know what's happening, but I did just Google that Otani fella, and you were right. Eye candy.
He's a beautiful man.
He's
attractive. Also he's deceptively
I understand the Japanese
ripped.
I also understand the Japanese cat treats much more now than I did prior. I was like, that's a random thing for a baseball player at
Did you see
Dodgers.
him when he got his MVP award and he's wearing his little sweater?
Yeah.
No,
I have the Topps card where he's with his dog. He won't even tell people the name of his dog. What a weirdo.
I like that about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like what he's like. You want to know the name of my dog? The name of my dog is fuck you. That's the name of my dog.
What if the name of his dog is fuck?
Super?
That would be
so
so
super
funny
weird though.
if he just started if all of a sudden he just started being way more vocal and he was just the stone cold Steve Austin of baseball.
Oh yeah, that would be great. But just doing it in Japanese.
Yeah, but or
what's he so mad about? What's going on?
Just really going for it, just leaning into it.
He's very angry. Are we gonna die?
No one knows the name of his dog?
Mm-mm.
That's
No.
wild. That's a hard secret to keep.
I mentioned this on another podcast, I think this week, but the most disappointing thing I've found out about Shohei Otani is that the team he played for in Japan was not called the Nippon Ham Fighters. They were called the Nippon Ham Fighters. So Fighters was the nickname. Nippon Ham was the company the team was named after. But I was hoping the mascot was Ham Fighters.
No, instead their mascot is a guy that beats the shit out of a giant ham.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want that. I want to be a part of whatever that is.
Yeah, they are fighters of Nippon Ham.
Yeah.
So they're not ham fighters. They are fighters of Nippon Ham.
I know. But I want it. I would like it. I want them to fight a ham.
Yes, a Nippon ham.
That's the whole thing I've been saying.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I want to live in that world.
So I think that's our episode. Hey, thank you everyone who watched the live stream.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. We're gonna do this every week, same time, Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Write it down. Because here's the thing: Wednesday, by far the least sporting night of the week. There's never
it's like you get basketball and hockey. You can come back to it.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be tough during the Olympics, I guess, but
you're not watching the Olympics, so
when are the Olympics?
I'm watching the Olympics.
Summertime.
Every 4 years. Every 2 years, actually.
I mean, every leap year you get the Summer Olympics, if that helps.
Yeah.
It does, actually. Thank you.
That does. Yeah, that's very helpful. All right. So this has been fun. Thank you, everyone who watched. I don't know. We don't need to plug anything. We plug stuff all the time. You
guys know all of our stuff. I have shows with Adam. I have shows with Kim. Check out all of them.
Yeah. Like check Instagram or something.
I'm at Hey There, Jeffro.
Yeah. I'm at Adam Todd Brown. You can see
I'm
that.
at Kim Crawl. It's on the screen.
Follow us on social media to find out what we're doing. Hey, thanks everybody. And don't forget, you don't even like sports.
No, you don't even like sports.
No, I was talking about the listeners, but
that is
you
true.
were listening.
They do not even like sports.
But you were listening when I said it. So
I'm gonna beat you with a car.
You also
or a ham.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.